UK over there, it's 9 o'clock at night, and we have our dear friend Bill Turner from New Zealand, which is 10 o'clock in the morning, and here in Melbourne it's just five. I've just gone past 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up very early. So if I fall asleep in the chair, don't blame me. Well, welcome, Bill and Dominic. Bill, I have a few problems which you may be able to help with. I came across this lady who contacted me recently, who's been in our property for 28 years. She's got a daughter who's 33 years old with leukemia, coming home today with no outlook at all. In other words, they can't do anything for her in the hospital. She's on her own. She got her mother who had a heart problem, who's in hospital also. So she's in a terrible state. Now, what's really makes this really bad is that after 28 years, the bank have said on the 26th of January, they're going to kick her out of the house. Now, I know that we're coming to you with looking for some remedies, and I think you have a few up your sleeve, Bill. What do you reckon?
Well, firstly, thank you for inviting me on, and hi to Dominic. I haven't spoken to you before, Dominic, but good to see you again, Barry. And yes, so she has a mortgage, are you saying? She has a mortgage?
Yes, she's had a mortgage, and she got behind with it because of I think her job loss with COVID and stuff like that, which is the normal process these days. But she is behind. She declared hardship. They gave her some ease here and there, but overall, that they said enough is enough, and we're kicking you out.
Okay, well, I guess unless you know what your rights are and what the law actually is, then you don't stand much of a chance. But first of all, I guess the first thing you have to do is you have to understand what land is. Now, I've told people for years that land, from the dust of the earth, God created man. So we are the land. Now, if you go into the Limitations Act, I've got the Limitation Act here, 1950. Barry, it says land. I think I'll flick that through to you. Land includes corporeal hereditaments and rent charges, and any legal or equitable estate or interest therein, including an interest in the proceeds of the sale of land held upon trust for sale, but save as aforesaid does not include any corporeal hereditaments. Okay, so when you realize that land is us, and that all that they're doing is putting a charge over the land, which is us. So when you realize that the house and the piece of dirt that it sits on doesn't come into the equation, the first thing that you would do is take a picture, get a photo of the house, and present that to them and say, is this the land or is this the property that you claim to have an interest in? Now, they can't answer that, so they will have to go silent. So you will get their silent acquiescence on that. But, I mean, not many people are up to that. And if her daughter's coming home with cancer, she's going to be under a lot of stress, Barry, so she will need help. So I'll actually send this document through to you. I'll put all the bits and pieces in there, and so just understanding what they're going to do next. So what they will do, what the bank will do, or if you're not paying your rates, and by the way, here in New Zealand, the number of people not paying their rates is absolutely huge. They will not put this in the papers or on lamestream media, because the people are now waking up to the fact that they don't have to pay rates. I mean, if they want to raise money for infrastructure, then we're quite happy to help with that. But we're not prepared to pay these bureaucrats $500 to $1 million a year for sitting there robbing us blind. And so, the people are starting to wake up now, which is great. So what they will do, the council, the banks and that sort of thing. Actually, the council will go through a debt collection agency like Baycorp, and so that they have an arm's length transaction. But then they will put these. What they do is, by process of law, they make 3 demands, and then those 3 demands, if you don't rebut every one of those demands, by process of law, they now have a judgment. All they have to do is go to a court and have that judgment verified and a order to collect. Now, what they don't tell you is they go through the Price Courts. And if you go to the Price Courts Act, where are we? Need to just have a look here. The Price Courts Act 1884. Now, there's only 5 sections in it here, and really, which is why I'm sure I'm
Skull and crossbones.
okay. They're pirates. Okay, they're pirates. So they're going under the Pirates of the Caribbean. Well, I mean, they made the movie about me, so I may as well. But they go to the Price Courts. So all they do is they hire a venue. People think that the courthouse is the court. It's not. It's just a venue. The court is actually the paper. And so when they hire a venue, Inland Revenue do the same. They just hire the venue and they put their own judges in. Normally they're masters. They're not judges. So they normally have a master who's the master of the ship. So under the Price Courts Act, what they're doing is they're getting bounty. Okay. So the understanding what they're doing is the whole key to it, Barry. So they will drag you into this venue that you think is a court where you're going to get justice. You will not. It's a price court. They've already got the judgment, the same as the Inland Revenue, the same as the banks. They have already got judgment. But if you take a photo and turn up in the court and say, is this the property that you claim to have the right to? They cannot do it. Now, here's what happens is that the moment that they get an order to repossess your property, what they will do is they will send the heavies around and they'll say, please vacate your property. Now, if they get the police involved, all you have to do is ask this question: is this a civil or criminal matter? And they'll say civil. So, well, are police allowed to get involved in civil matters? They're not. They can only get involved in criminal matters. So bang, you throw them out. What they will do is they will get someone from another district to come and put the heavies on you. Or what they will do is they will have someone monitor the property and wait for you to go out. The moment you go out, they will have a locksmith there, change the locks and say, we found abandoned property. And now you can prove this, Barry. When someone comes around to the door and says, we have this order to repossess your property because it's been sold, go down to your lawyer and get a copy of the title. And you will find that they are not registered on the title. Now, the moment that the locks are changed and the new person moves in, now, because it was abandoned property, now the person who has possession of the property, and remembering the old rule, possession is 9/10 of the law. So now, as they hold the title, they will give you the title. Then you will find it. So if you've got a copy of the title and you give it to the people who come to your door, that's when they will wait out. They'll wait across the road. They'll wait down the road, waiting for you to go out, and then they will take possession of the property. Okay. What they do is they fool us with the word. And so, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So who is God?
That's a question. They like
The Word.
it's just a word. Okay.
In the beginning, the Word was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So who is God? It's the Word. So they also give us maxims. Now, maxims are law. And so if you look for law in Latin is lex. So if you go to your law dictionary and look up lex, you'll get a whole pile of different things there. Lex causae, causae. And if there's anyone out there who speaks Latin, please excuse my ignorance.
Utilitatum coque nostrum tiliasque ecclesiae, or atres fratres.
Okay, Latin for the law of the cause of action. Okay, so if you address your documents lex causae, that's the cause of the action. Lex domicile, lex fore, the law of the place in which any given case is tried. So when you start using these maxims, they must uphold them. So what I'm trying to show you here is your court is higher than any of their courts. So because the way it is that God is at the top of the pecking order, then comes man, and then comes corporations. Now, corporations, as you're well aware, are only a piece of paper. And so when you pull rank on them, your court, which is the paper, is higher than their court. And so when you put a judgment and give them a copy put a copy of your judgment into their court and ask for a foreign judgment because you're foreign to them under the Reciprocal Enforcement of Foreign Judgments Act, they have to give you the reciprocal enforcement of that act. Okay, so lex loci contractus, lex loci delicti commissi, the law of the place where the wrong is committed. So if the wrong was committed in Australia, you are foreign to them. So your judgment in your court overrides any of their courts because you are living and they are only a piece of paper. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one I'll show you when you're doing your courts is the mandamus. Now I've emailed those through to you, Barry, so you can have a look at them. Mandamus, once again, Latin for we command. Okay. An order issued by a court to compel a public official to perform a public duty or to exercise a statutory discretionary power. Now, you're using your own courts. You don't go to their courts begging for a mandamus. A mandamus is an order issued by your court to compel public officials to do their job. Okay, so if you go to Black's Law Dictionary, mandamus in practice means the name of a writ, the principal word of which when the proceedings were in Latin was mandamus, meaning we command. It is a command issuing in the name of a sovereign authority from a superior court having jurisdiction. Okay, now I have emailed that through to you. So once you understand that your courts have more power than theirs will ever have, you'll start moving forward with great strides. Now, I believe that a lot of things are going on in the background, Barry. The new systems are being put in place. The quantum financial system is being put into place as we speak, with BRICS and many other things. Now, I don't have, I don't claim to have any inside sources. I just look around and try and sort the chaff from the wheat, and put things together. But I like some of the supposed gurus on YouTube that know this contact and that contact, and yes, it's all happening. I don't. All I can do is have a look around, the same as you do, and see things happening in the background, that processes are being put in place to move from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. Quite interesting. I'm a Pisces and my son's Aquarius, so
we're both Sagittarians, Dominic and I.
Sagittarius.
Don't you call me an ass, mate.
Okay, so those documents that I've sent to you there, Barry, should help you with your courts, and absolutely admire the work you guys are doing. And but once you start realizing you don't listen to their courts, you command the public officials, you demand the public official to do their job. If you are the principal, they're only agents.
They build this new lockdown 15-minute city. They've started the councils here. I've been to a council meeting on Monday just gone, and it's interesting. They're already setting up the zones like they have in Oxfordshire in England, and the 20-minute cities Dominic knows about over there. It's actually happening, and as far as waking up is concerned, got to wake up very shortly, because down the track there's a movie, I don't know whether you've seen it, it's called In Time. It gives you an idea about how they paid you in life.
Oh, yes.
That's a great movie. Well, yeah. That's exactly the people who have been watching those movies are now, these criminal politicians are now going to bring these ideas forward, and they actually started it. The pandemic thing was to frighten the life out of people so they will obey. The reasons people...
precursor.
That's right, and they're still wearing the muzzles because they want to keep you in line till they bring in these zones, so you won't be able to leave your zone without permission. And if you leave it too many times, you'll get fined. So there you are. Bill, have you got anything on Dominic? You're into the zones, eh? Have you got anything to say on zones?
Well, yeah, I don't want to get into the zones, and I don't think most people that awakened want to be in that zone either. What a load of old tripe, isn't it? You know, and we need to, well, how do we stop it? It just needs to get everyone educated on it, really, and get people talking about it, which is exactly what we're doing now, isn't it? You know, putting it out there.
Barry, just in closing, if you don't know your rights, then they can ride roughshod over you. But if you know your rights, and if you quote the laws to them, they must uphold them. You know, nothing they can do. They're bound by legislation. Now, if you will have an administration act over there, and not many people realize what the administration act is. What they're doing is they're administering the deceased estates. Okay, so when you realize that that we are all deceased estates, then how do they control us? With the title and by the Administration Act. So they come in as administrators, and they expect to be paid for them, paid for what they're doing. Now, you will also catch them out really easily with an act from 1910 called the Secret Commissions Act 1910. Now, if they haven't disclosed to you that they are getting a secret commission, they're in big trouble. So when the prosecutor or the judge stands up in the court, and if people are still silly enough to go to court, so I one letter and they they know to go away. But if you are silly enough to go into court, all you need to do is ask the judge first if you may ask the prosecutor a question. Say, as an agent, have you disclosed that you are getting a secret commission for this? Tell you what, the judge will shut you down pretty quick. So, perhaps someone may have to recuse themselves if they are also getting a secret commission.
Exactly. What a way to go, Bill. Okay, listen, we better wrap it up because when this goes to air, people will their attention span is pretty short, so we got to make sure they get the message. Anyway, Bill, thanks for coming all the way over from New Zealand on the air, and Dominic all the way from Worcestershire in the UK on the air. We'll catch up with you guys again. So thanks, Bill, and thanks, Dominic. We'll catch you all again soon. Bye for now.
Thank you, Barry.
Okay.